Well, we've been telling you guys for a long time this was not going to be a 2 or 3 year build. Year 4 Lincoln Riley shows are serious. Huge recruiting news coming up next. Well, welcome, guys. We knew that Lincoln Riley was locked up for 10 years. And people have been talking about firing him last year, talking about getting a new offensive coordinator, talking about how USC, that Lincoln Riley's on the hot seat. And in reality, this has always been a build. And we knew that it would be not a 1 year, not a 2 year. USC spent, Preston and Paulie, probably about 6 years pancaking this thing into the ground. And it's going to take a little time to build it out. We now have people in place where recruiting is a priority. We have the staff in place. And these guys have shown they like to build from the inside out. The guys that come on board are talking about trenches, building the trenches, and you see it from USC right now. So tonight, you guys, we're going to talk a little bit about this staff that was introduced yesterday to everybody. We'll start with Bowden at first. But before we introduce anyone else, I want to talk to these two guys, Preston and Paulie. How are you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic, man. Happy to be here. And feeling like $1 million, man. I got my Trojan form figure here. Feeling like, success is on the horizon. And man, ready to get it started. Talk some USC football.
And I am absolutely excited and thrilled to be here as well, especially after Rob Ryan's speech. I'm ready to jump through these fake bricks over here, man. That's how excited I am to be here right now.
Hell yeah.
It was good to see that Lincoln Riley, who obviously we all know his affinity and his love for his coach, the Mad Pirate. But now we have our own version of it. We have our own, like I said on a tweet that Trojan Blade Gabe put out, where he did that video of Rob Ryan. But I mean, there is no Mike Leach. There's only one Mike Leach. But I'll tell you what, that speech he gave at that presser, it had just vibes of the just the waxing poetry that you would see from Coach Leach over the years. And it was really fun to watch. I can't wait. The scrums and the press conferences with that guy are going to be just a treat to watch. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's pull it back a little bit and let's start. I know it's kind of old news, but you got to start at the top of this thing. Lincoln Riley said something really important to me. He basically made it really clear. He said, a lot of people are saying, we're talking about the staff and what took this long. I mean, we know we can go back and we can talk about defensive coordinators. We could talk about decisions that have been made. We could talk about maybe we built this great developmental staff, but where were those young recruiters, right? The guys that have that just tenacity and know the LA market and know Southern California. We're kind of waiting for that move next. And we've seen a lot of that come true in the last couple of days. And Lincoln Riley, that's kind of seep out there. There's a couple more people left to fill out this great, incredible front office and coaching staff that Bowden's putting together. But he kind of let it leak out as well without throwing it under the bus. He said, I don't think we could have amassed this staff when we first got here. And he doesn't want to disparage anyone, especially the previous administration and the previous coaching staff. But like I said at the beginning, they did their best to run this thing into the ground. And now slowly you're starting to show proof of concept. You're showing what this thing could be. You're showing with Danton Lynn how special the defense is going to be. And we know it's going to be amazing. Adding Rob Ryan to it and adding all the pieces that we need are going to be pretty special. What were your thoughts, Preston, on Coach Riley's comments at the press conference as he was talking about the future of USC football?
Yeah, that's exactly what we knew was a deal, right? I mean, because first year you come out, 11 wins, things look good, even though, we did have problems on defense. Second year, things just took a real nosedive and you had to make a change. And it was tough to see. But, thank goodness to the universe, man, for it playing out that way, because it allowed for all these coaches to be available at the right time. These staffers now to be available at this point at the right time for USC to make these hires. And man, it just seems like we're really going to enter a space now where, we got everything lined up to be a national champion, to get back to that point where the nation is looking at this program as really what the way they should be looking at us is, top program in the country. So, just serendipitous things that happen to get us to this point, and just hope it continues because, we're looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, I know you're happy with the staff, Paulie. What are your thoughts about Riley and his comments?
Riley, honestly, this is just, it's heaven sent, to be honest with you. From the time that the way that Danton Lynn was hired, that he fell into our laps, Coach Hanney, every single thing has just been just falling in place, man. And it's just been truly heaven sent. And then especially us being able to have this opportunity, just like Preston said a second ago about, I mean, we got a chance to hire this fresh and dynamic, personnel team and all of these guys that go along with Chad's dream, Bowden's dream, and vision. They're just all falling into place, and I couldn't be happier. It's everything I envisioned as well. It's been tough, but I've been patient, and sure enough, man, it's looking really, really positive. Yeah,
and when you look at it, maybe I didn't start at the top. We should probably start at the top of the athletic department and start with what Jen Cohen's been able to do, because you really brought that up, Paulie. For the last year, I mean, think about the hires that they've had over last year, going back to Coach Henney, and really putting that defensive, just the entire defensive staff together, and now this second wave, it really does just seem like it's coming together. Last year, when it started out, we needed coaches, right? So you get the head coach, you bring in Lincoln Riley, a big hitter, you get us into a conference that's serious about football in the Big Ten, and then you start putting together an amazing developmental staff. You get the NIL together, which is fully funded. We kind of caught up to the new age of NIL, not playing by the book. Like, we're one of the handful of people actually doing that. Unlike a lot of other programs that are flat out either pushing the limits on what NIL was supposed to be, or flat out just buying players, handing out bags and telling the NCAA to go kick rocks, or we'll take you to court. So all that's really coming together. And it does seem like it's, they had a vision in place. And Riley talked about it. People laughed at him about calling the Mecca of college football. But, I want to ask both of you guys this, because both of you are familiar with Southern California. It is a desirable place to live. A lot of people, the biggest hit they got on USC, on LA is that it's expensive. Well, when you're making 6 figures, 7 figures, there aren't many places on the planet that are better to live in than Southern California and USC.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth, man. Like, the sky's the limit when you're in LA, when you're in California. You can go to the beach, and a couple hours later, you can be in the snow. That's what I always like to say. And, you have the ability to take any business, any idea, and put it on a grand stage to be successful in LA. And once it's successful in LA, it can be successful in the entire country and in the world, man. So that's a football program, any type of business, any type of creative thing you want to do. And the sky's the limit in Los Angeles, and we all know that.
I remember as a kid growing up in Santa Ana, California, and everything was always so exciting. Every weekend, Dad had us going somewhere, doing something, and that's just not what I mean. LA's just about just having the whole world in the palm of your hands. You can do whatever you want when you live in this area. And these guys, I'm with this personnel stuff that we have in place, and then being able to paint that picture for some of these young recruits, to be able for them to just, dream and think, what, man, I can do this here. Then it just, like I said, it just drives me crazy, man. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's pull back a little bit. So, again, bear with us, guys. We want to do this kind of in order, because it was really nice to see the announcements have been stringing along, but next they brought out Chad Bowden. Chad Bowden, who, it's just amazing. Anytime you can go into your rival and hurt them, and then really have an up-and-coming superstar that truly, Marcus Freeman said, of all the people on my staff, of all the people here in the program, this is the one dude that I could afford to lose the least. And USC goes, all right, I think we should go for him. And I like what Riley said. They're talking about what they were desiring, what they were looking for in the GM. The first thing he said right away is, we don't want to reteach. We don't want to teach that whoever it is, but we still want them to have a blend, And with Bowden, you have a guy whose father obviously was a GM in Major League Baseball, and he's grown up with this stuff. I can imagine the coffee table talks that they've had together, it just since he was hired. And the idea that USC was able to get a home run hire like this and hurt your rival, it's a win-win for USC. And I would like to know from both of you guys, just tell people how big this is from a roster standpoint. Where do you see this taking USC's roster? Because we saw last year, the coaching was in place. We would fall short. We were leading in every game except for the Notre Dame game in the fourth quarter, and we found a way to run out of gas. And we know, anyone knows football knows that the lines and the depth just got worn down, and in the end came on the wrong end of the ledger. So I want to ask both of you guys, what do you see? What's the biggest impact you see Bowden? Is it the staff he's going to be together? Is his negotiations? Is the fact that he's going to be going out there and he's going to be actually recruiting as well? Where do you see his biggest impact?
I can tell you right now, the biggest impact I can see that's going to happen immediately is the relationship that he's going to build with families. And that's probably the key point right there, where I think we struggled a lot when it's coming to making that connection, that development with these families and finding that right type of player where, a lot of guys, recruiters, they come in and it's football, where Chad gets to paint the picture and show them what their son can become as far as, being a professional in life. And I think that's where we're really going to excel, and finding that right type of player that's going to commit to this university, not just for a year and then bail, but a guy that really wants to be a Trojan, and those families that believe in this university as well.
Yeah. Chad Bowden, man, he steps up, on that podium. Man, I felt like, the way he was speaking, I felt like I took the GM job and I was up there giving a speech. That's why I'm so excited for Chad Bowden, man. The relationships that he's going to build, he's got that swag. And one of the first things he said when he stepped up there, says he likes to collaborate. It's a collaborative process for him. So if there's something that Chad Bowden can't do, or, a relationship or end he can't tie, he can hand it off to a guy like Dre Brown. He can hand it off to somebody else to get the job done. But Chad Bowden, man, the energy, the first thing he said, I think Scott Schrader, somebody asked him a question. They said, did Notre Dame try to keep you? Did they do everything they could to try to keep you? Why didn't you go back to Notre Dame? Something to that effect. He said, USC meant more to me. It meant more to me. I grew up watching the Trojans. I grew up watching these guys play football. That was my team. And that's exactly what I'm saying, man. That's exactly how we feel. That's exactly how I feel. So I'm just super confident. And to be honest, I think it's over for the rest of college football, man, to get this thing rolling. I have no stress. I'm alleviated from stress. And I'm just excited to get the ball rolling on this.
Yeah. And as Gabe said over on the Trojan Blade channel, the big thing is that Riley has just come out flat out and said that he's really just going to kind of step back and let Bowden do his thing, which I think is great. He says he's still gonna be part of the process. Obviously, he's gonna put his 2 cents in, but in general, it's gonna be him allowing Bowden, giving him that reign to build this roster, to do the recruiting the way he wants to do it. And I just think that's special. I think that's gonna be the difference. We know that Riley's an amazing head coach. I know he's an amazing offensive coordinator. I know he's a great quarterback whisperer. I would say that there were a lot of things working against him, but in general, I think the fact allowing this to happen again, we always say that Oregon threw together a bag, and that's why, they got a bag, that everything's happening. But in reality, I don't know if they had that Nike executive thing, that these marketing agents, they had a really good organization about them. They were very business-like. They were out ahead of the curve, as much as it hurts me to say it. Now USC's finally figured that out, and they're doing that, and Riley's doing the right thing and letting a guy do what you do best and delegate the rest, and that's exactly what he's doing. All right, then that leads us to assistant head coach for defense and linebackers coach, the star of the day, Rob Ryan. What are you guys' initial reactions to Rob Ryan and his very bigger-than-life personality?
You want to go first, Preston, or I'll
let
take
me
it
go.
away.
Yeah. I'll have Polly finish it out, because I know Polly. This Polly felt highly about Rob Ryan. I knew what to expect coming from Rob Ryan. I've watched him and Rex on film, and I know the way they speak, and I know those are hard-nosed guys, but these are fun, energetic guys at the same time. That you're just ball coaches, old ball coaches. And they come from an old ball coach, man. It's Buddy Ryan, man. Buddy Ryan, same guy, told his players they were his heroes. Tons of, stories about Buddy Ryan back in the day. That's their father, man. It's in their DNA. And just personality out of this world, gonna connect with any human being on the face of the earth. And that's all I gotta say about Rob Ryan. He's also a great linebacker coach, great football coach.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah, the one thing about Rob that, just over the years, like I said, when my brother was back in the day when he was covering the Raiders and being able to see this guy on the sidelines and doing his thing, it was just it was unbelievable to watch the transformation he made. He was actually defensive coordinator that time with the Raiders, and turning a guy like Nnamdi Asomugha, who everybody thought was a joke, into an all-pro. And then you had guys like, Napoleon Harris and Danny Clark, who were unbelievable, at the linebacking position. But one thing that he does best, and he does better than anybody, is he loves versatile linebackers. The guy, I can't even imagine what he's going to do with Gentry and Desmond and those guys. I mean, those are the type of linebackers that he loves. He even said it. And to just think, I mean, oh my God, I'm getting chills even thinking about it. Just the way that he's going to have these guys, like he said, hitting them before he gets hit. And that's what I'm talking about. We hit those exotic blitzes, versatile guys. You give them that strong defensive front, which we have, and I think is probably one of the better D lines in all of college football. And if you don't believe, trust me, you will believe by the end of the year. And just watch what he does. What he prides himself in is this linebacking unit is going to be fundamentally sound. They're tackling. That's what he prides himself on, is to be superior when it comes to tackling. Sound and tackling, sound in every part of the game, and being versatile and be able to make big plays when needed. And that's Rob Ryan to a T. But just his enthusiasm, the love for it. We don't need him out pounding the pavement. We got guys that can go do that for him. But when they come in for their visit and they get to meet him and sit with him and know that all this football NFL knowledge is spewing out of his mouth, man, and in his brain, and they're going to soak it up. And look what happened already. A guy committed immediately because of it. So that's him in a nutshell. And if you don't believe it, man, you're going to see it. Trust me, you're going to see a huge difference with linebackers. Those 3 stars, those guys that we've forgotten about, trust me, maybe they're going to be one of those out of nowhere stars that lights it up for us this year.
Yeah, stops with the Cardinals, Patriots, Raiders, Browns, Cowboys, Saints, Bills, Redskins, Ravens, and Raiders. Ryan is traveling, obviously NFL fan with Rex and their dad, Buddy Ryan. The name Ryan is synonymous with football. I love during the introductions, and I mean, it doesn't seem like it's not even like pretentious. He's just name dropping like insane Pro Bowlers, Hall of Famers, Super Bowl champions in living rooms. I'm sorry, that has to turn some heads, and that has to get the eyes of a lot of these young men, knowing that this is the coach that really helped these young men to develop. And it just goes along with this theme of NFL development, will get you to the league. It's just a whole picture, you guys. And I keep telling you guys, yes, NIL is huge, but that's a drop in the bucket to these guys' real dream. That rookie contract, that second contract, NIL, couple $100,000 here or there to go live, up in some woodland area next to a lake in freezing rainy weather. Sure, I'll take an extra couple $100,000. But at the end of the day, these kids all want to get to the league. And with the defensive squad, I mean, the defensive coaching staff that they've put together at USC, it just now speaks for itself.
Wow. Look at that.
You load that up. You look at the NFL pedigree of this staff, and it's going to be really difficult. I mean, I would argue with anybody that this is the best defensive staff in America. Yep. If you want to get to the NFL, if you're 17 years old, if you're 18 years old, you're sitting at home thinking, where do I want to spend the next 3 to 5 years of my life to get to where I want to be? And to look at this staff and say that this staff isn't the most likely staff to get me to where I want to be, I think that's going to be a hard sell for anybody. Now, throw in the fact that you got now we have a front office that is top notch. I was throwing around the fact that this is the mecca of college football front offices now, because it just seems like we got multiple GMs, GMs. Adding Steinecker, right, from Wisconsin, who just happened to be the GM. He took a demotion, if you want to look at it that way. He was a GM with Wisconsin, came over with Fickle from Cincinnati. Where at Cincinnati, there's your connection to Bowden. He was on staff with Bowden, and now you've got multiple GMs in the front office. You've got multiple guys that were the directors of recruiting at their various schools, and you're just throwing together a combination of talent that's going to put together the roster, because we have had amazing. You go up and down our roster. I said last year, I'll take our 22 against anyone else's 22 last year. And we would have won. if these guys wouldn't have got hurt, if we didn't lose an Eric Gentry early in the season, we're winning 10 games last year. I know we are. Anyone that doesn't think that they're crazy. I mean, the fact that we lost 3-0 techniques right around spring camp and still were able to do what we did and be leading in every single game last year. Yeah. Hey, caller, I thank you for calling in, but I don't know how you got the call, but we're taking calls in a few minutes. You want to hang out? You want to hang out for a little bit? We will. If you want to sit backstage, you can sit there, but we're going to be talking for a little bit, probably at least another 20 minutes. Okay. So I'll leave it up to you. You can call back or you could just hang out. All right, man. See you in a bit. I didn't even put the number up. Hugo, you are as a star, man.
That is a star right there.
Okay, so I just touched on Steinecker. Do you guys want to add anything at all to Steinecker really quick?
Oh, Steinecker, I love him, but just going, I wanted to kind of rewind just for 1 second.
Yeah.
In regards to the staff, what I love about it is normally coaching staffs have that one guy that really loves the limelight and this and that, but we got guys that are all on the same page when it comes to reaching that ultimate goal. And who better than Sean and Coach Nua? You never hear of Nua ever wanting the limelight or being in interviews or anyone talking about the consistency that this man brings. Also, our running back coach, let me tell you how amazing this guy is. Every time we're doubted, he always performs for us. I mean, Jones is amazing. And then you got Belk. I mean, these guys, no one really talks about them, but we're all on the same page. And this is what makes us so special. Yes, it's great that we have the personnel department side of it. But what I'm really excited is that our coaching staff, talk about cohesion. It doesn't get any better than that, guys.
Yeah. And between staff and personnel, too, one thing that I noted and talked about in a video earlier this week, a couple of days ago, is the fact that, obviously, first priority, recruit California, but we're covering the entire country with relationships and past experiences. We can recruit wherever we want. We can send Henny and Trovon Reed down to Louisiana. We can send people Lincoln to Texas. We can send people down here to Miami. We're covering all bases with our personnel.
Belk to Georgia.
Crazy. Belk to Georgia. Anthony Jones out come down here, and people come to the Carolinas. Like, man, Alaska, Hawaii, with New, we're covering all bases with this staff. It's amazing, man. You just got to win these football games.
And that leads us right to tight ends and inside receivers coach Chad Savage. Last piece, everybody last year was getting all over us being USC and their coaching staff, that they weren't recruiting Southern California or California in general. What's up, Rusty? Yes, you guys, make sure you guys check it out. Rusty over on Fight on Rusty on Twitter.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. Yeah, the
greatest Twitter
Rusty
handle out there.
Savage.
Damn it, Rusty threw me off. So that leads me back to Chad Savage and that piece where this guy's a young, relentless recruiter. I kind of said last year, probably erroneously, because I'm just going off. I don't have a lot of information, but I just felt like, these guys were growing into their role of recruiting Southern California. Well, now you got a guy in Chad Savage who was recruiting at a non-Power 4 school, right? Coming over from Colorado State and Nevada before that. He's been a hot young name. They knew they wanted him. We know that we moved Coach Hansen from tight ends over to offensive line, so they needed to replace that tight end coach. So they reached out to Chad and said to him, "Hey, look, we need that presence here in California." There's no doubt about that. They made this decision with a deliberate, conscious decision to get a young coach who has the respect of all the coaches here in Southern California, because he's grinding. Look, if you're recruiting for Nevada, if you're recruiting for Colorado State, you're just gonna, let's face it, you're gonna have to work just that much harder. And I think that these pieces, adding him to the staff along with Trovon Reed, which we'll get to next, but adding those relentless young recruiters, not saying that our other guys are not, but this is something I think was a conscious effort. Your thoughts, Paulie?
Yeah, it's just like I said, Reed and having this dynamic young team out there. Like you said, it's not that these older guys can't do it.
Hey, watch that old guy stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm one of them. Trust me. My knees hurting as we talk right now. But anyway, getting these guys out there pounding the pavement, they're passionate about it. This is what they excel at. but it's just a different type of generation right now, a type of player that maybe they understand a little better than some of us older guys. But one thing I can tell you right now is just the energy, the ambition to get out there and to really, I mean, when I was watching Coach Reed just talk about it, I mean, I was getting fired up because you can tell that guy just wanted to start hitting people, man. He was so into it. But the enthusiasm that they're bringing and the enthusiasm to coach and for these players to learn and to develop, that's what's really been key to me. And I can't wait to see Coach Savage out there and Reed out there just preaching to these young kids. It's really thrilling. It's a thrilling thing, man. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. I really like Savage, man. One thing that stood out to me to Savage is Savage basically broke it down. Like, I mean, he didn't say this word for word, but essentially he said, I don't care if you're a Trinity League player. I don't care if you're at Bosco, if you're at Mater Dei, wherever you are in any type of hood, inner city school, any school in the entire state of California, I'm going to find you. And once I find you, you're going to be a Trojan. That's basically what he said. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the confidence that I saw when I, first saw the guy doing Colorado State videos months ago. Just has that dog in him as a recruiter and as a young coach. And I'm completely behind him, man. I love the energy. Love what I see from Chad Savage.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Tim. It just that's the thing about it too. That it's their enthusiasm for the recruiting, but I believe in their ability to develop. Man, that's what I'm excited about. Is these guys look like they're true students of the game. Coach Reed, Trovon brings that. Reed, he brings that NFL experience as well. I mean, that's huge. I mean, he played under Coach Lynn's father, man. And so that's just a ton of experience that these guys are going to learn from. But I just remember the good old days when we had California on lock, and then the competition that we had during practice, all these California boys knocking each other's heads around just to try to get to that starting lineup and some playing time. And that's what I'm really thrilled about. I cannot wait for those competition Tuesdays like back in the day.
Well, the NCAA knew what they were doing. USC had it rolling under Pete Carroll. And I mean, my favorite ever is the fact that the only time ever in all of recruiting that a school had nothing but 4- and 5-star recruits was that I think it was the first recruiting class that Kiffin had, where we had they had 15 signees. They took 10 scholarships from 10 young men that will never have had a chance to play for USC, which is complete crap. Here's NCAA is a great move. NCAA, you're going to take the future dreams of 10 guys that dreamed of playing at USC and hurt them because of some story you cooked up to get USC. Good job. But you did know what you're doing, because not only did the NCAA sanction us, but then we had two how do I put this? We had two ADs that made some very poor decisions, then started self-sanctioning, and we just had a catastrophe. And we there was no way to tell with the whole Sark thing how that turned out, and then leading into the Helton thing and hanging on to him. But now we're here, and what I'm saying is we could get everyone we wanted, Paulie, but USC did its best again to grind our program into the ground ourselves, self-sanctioned. We really. Bad decision after bad decision after bad decision led us to where we were when Riley walked through that door. And it goes back to what he said. These coaches would not have come. You guys, they're not going to they're not going to move their kids across country to go to a program that has shown for 7 or 8 years that they don't care about football. It's not just a decision for a career. They have to move their entire families and make that decision. And I think Riley was right on. He could not have put this staff together, whether the front office staff or the coaching staff that he has now when he first got here, because quite frankly, USC, as much as we want to believe it's the greatest thing in the world, wasn't viewed that way before Riley got here. So great news. Paulie, you kind of jumped the gun on it, but we'll go back. So Trovon Reed, Preston, Riley said he's a rising star in our business. Reed is a talented coach with NFL playing experience. He's an exceptional recruiter who will surely contribute to our climb as a program. We're excited to welcome him to USC. As Gabe said in his video, he's the only guy to have coach two guys at Central Florida that were in the Senior Bowl. And himself, you can see a theme here. Either it's like Super Bowl champions or you have a player like coach like Reed, who was a player on that 2010 Auburn team that won the national championship. These guys, not only are they great recruiters, not only great coaches, but they also know how to win. Your thoughts on Reed?
Yeah, Trovon Reed, been there, done that. NFL player, won a national championship at Auburn. One thing that stood out to me is the fact that, he talked about how he played offense when he was in high school, played the quarterback position, so kind of views the game, from that lens as well when he's coaching his DBs, and talked about he's going to come in the room and break down every player, in terms of, their flaws and what they're good at, and set them up for success, man. So that's exactly what we need. We need to get to the root of whatever issue we're having on the field with whatever room it is, and fix it and make it to the best of, our ability to come out there on Saturdays and get W's. So feel great about Trovon Reed. Obviously the recruiting chops, that's icing on the cake. And just super pumped up to have like a guy like that on the coaching staff.
Look at the hottest states. I don't think we have anyone on the staff that we would designate as a Florida guy. But look at Georgia. Look at Texas, as you said, Preston. Look at Louisiana, and look at where we are. We're in Southern California. With the front office we have now, with our fully funded NIL, with a general manager. And by the way, I like the way Riley also, because a couple of times he's come to Dave Emmerich's defense. Last year when they put together a defensive staff, he made sure everyone knew when he was getting all that heat. He said, "By the way, you guys, the guy you guys are crucifying, that guy was instrumental in bringing Belk and Entz and Henny and keeping Nua here. He was instrumental in doing that. He also made it a point to tell everybody. Also, he was instrumental in putting together this front office staff and the coaching additions that we've added to. So again, thank you, Dave Emmerich. Thank you very much, Jen Cohen and Riley, making all the right decisions. Oh. People have been jumping. I wonder how many people on the peristyle are going to be popping right back on the bandwagon after that last couple of weeks. Probably a lot of them. On the On3 message board, probably a lot of them. On the Rivals board, probably a lot of them. Right?
Yeah.
So again, that's why we're fans. Look, and I'm not mocking anybody. It's part of being a fan. You get pissed off, you get crazy, but sometimes you got to stop and pull back and realize, look at the big picture. When they signed Riley on, and I've been saying this forever, to a 10-year contract, this was not going to be a split decision, turn around 3 years, or we're going to fire you. That was never the thing. This has been USC, as we sometimes have to do, play catch up, and not just assume because we're USC, we're going to be the greatest. Well, they've done that now. I can't really see a hole from the top. And now the spring, you guys, this is what I want to ask you guys. What kind of impact? Because we know that USC has been able to pull some pretty big names. Now, I don't think we're going to have a Caleb Williams or a Jordan Addison, right? Or a Jordan Addison to come in. But do you think we're going to have a big name spring call? And if you do, what position do you think it's going to be?
I don't know who's available, right? We need linebackers, maybe offensive linemen. I don't know who's going to be available. These guys are going to jump ship after these spring games. I know that. And if there's big fish available, I think we're going to get them. So that's how I feel. I don't know. They're not out there yet. They're not flopping yet. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We won't see them. They're not going to hop. Here's the thing. We don't see them until they go through spring ball and look at that and look at where they are on that depth chart. And if they got a freshman ahead of them, or let's just say they've got, maybe a guy come back for his 5th year and they don't want their sophomore, they don't want to wait. That's when we're going to find these out, Paulie.
I honestly think just with the rosters, the way they're stacked with these wide receivers, and we all know wideouts tend to have some of a little ego when it comes to playing time. A lot, they all do in the NFL everywhere. That's just the way they're built. And so I look at some of these top 25 teams. There's going to be some guys that are going to be upset with their playing time and going to probably bounce out and want to compete. But then again, like I said, we do need some more, to be honest with you. Preston hit it right in the head when it comes to linebackers. We want to see some more depth there. I know our defensive line, we're pretty stacked as well, but I'd like to see if we could find any some good offensive line prospects that we can bring in for some competition. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Hard to argue with that. Listen, you guys, we're about a half hour in right now. And again, I bring you these guys, two of the best we have here in the business, man. Every time we can get them on here. But if you guys are enjoying the show, hit that like button. Appreciate everybody being here. We know it's late on a Thursday night. Tomorrow's Friday, winding down your week, but we really appreciate everybody being here. So if you got a second, go ahead and click that like button. Thank you to all you guys. We got over 6,000 subscribers last week. We're on our way to 10,000, right? That's our next milestone. So let us know. Let us know what you think also in the comments. It really helps us out. Comments, likes, and subscribes. We appreciate all of you guys being here. Well, we could open it up for calls. My idea. You saw Gabe wants a quarterback. I think we need, as much as I love our offensive line, I'm the biggest offensive line fan for at least the last 3 years. And I know this is going to be the year. But I'm going to speak the obvious. We're also going to need some linebacker depth. So linebacker depth and some offensive line depth, I think, are paramount.
Yeah.
And if we can get a guy who is a proven winner that fits Riley's offensive scheme for 1 year rental, I think we should do it and let them battle out in the spring. The problem with that is I don't think that guy's going to come here unless he knows he's going to get the starting position. So, but
you're talking about quarterback, correct? That's what you're saying? As
a quarterback. I mean, let's face it. Look, I think Jaden Maiava could be a great quarterback. We've talked about it ad nauseum that he has all the physical tools, but he hasn't put it together yet. So you're gambling with him. We all know that Husan Longstreet is an amazing talent, but dude is a true freshman. And he did not play the most complicated scheme in high school. And I really don't want to put a year like this on the backs of two unproven quarterbacks. So if you can go out there and get a Dylan Gabriel, if you can go out there and get a Will Howard, we see how that works out, you guys, instead of rolling the dice. That's not to disparage anybody on the roster right now. But let's face it, a bird in the hand. It was a bird in the hands. There's two in the bush. We've got two in the bush that might be pretty good. But I sure like to go out there and grab this Dylan Gabriel, or go get a Will Howard, or get a Sam. God, how quickly I forget.
Heward.
You see Heward making any noise at all, you guys? Honestly, now he's teamed with his uncle. I mean, you really think maybe there's that chance that guy becomes that out of nowhere type of guy? I know I'm just throwing it out there, but there is that possibility. People mature. He's a smart guy when it comes to the quarterback position. Doesn't have the arm talent that some of these guys have, but I don't know if he can maybe make some noise. Who knows? He's
a former 5-star. He's got an arm on him, but the thing is, he hasn't put it all together. It sounds like a lot like Jaden, you know? So, I mean, going into the season with unknowns, look, if we're going to do that, I mean, be great because you have Lincoln Riley there, you have Luke Heward there. So, I mean, I have faith in their development of quarterbacks. I'm just saying, if you can get that sure thing, for the 1 year rental, so you don't mix up the succession and flow, and then let them compete. I don't say just hand them the job, because Jaden could be that guy. If he turns that switch, but what Gabe has told me a bunch of times, and it's kind of hard to argue with it.
Yeah, of course. He's
been in college football for 3 years. When's it going to flip? And then it's a lot to put on a true freshman. Now, this schedule really plays in the USC's hand for either one of those guys starting and kind of working out the kinks of their game, whether it be a young true freshman or Jada Maiava, just kind of really, I don't know, just getting used to the speed of the defense, and getting those pre-snap reads and going through his progression and not making that crazy throw that gives everybody a heart attack 3 or 4 times a game. Yeah. I mean, that's gonna be the key.
Yeah, I remember looking at.
We know it's gonna be lights out.
I remember looking at Riley Leonard. I mean, that's someone he didn't make as many mistakes as he did as Jaden did. I mean, towards the end there, but I remember him making that leap from that to Notre Dame that way, and just becoming a completely different quarterback than what I was used to seeing. I mean, that guy was just all over the place. But all we can hope for is the best, and maybe he's in there grinding it out now. I hope he is. And I believe in him, and I believe in our coaching staff. And I know if something's not going to work, I know Plan B is going to be there to make it happen for us, because we all know what's on the line this year. And I think they'll do a great job of figuring something out for us.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Well, you've been a champ. You've been a champ. Hi, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? Let's grab a couple of calls. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Hi, caller.
What's up, fellas? This is Hugo.
Hugo, thank you for holding so long, man. Yeah, we got you.
What's up, Hugo?
I don't.
Back. So I'm really excited about staff, man. But let me tell you guys what's blowing my mind. What's blowing my mind is I did not realize how short our front office was. I didn't know that Lincoln Riley was spread so thin. So I knew we all had to get a GM, right? And then for the average fan, they just think, one guy, GM, go do your job. But man, we brought 3 guys or 3 more people with them. I think Notre Dame. Then we got another GM from Wisconsin, right? And it just shows you just how short-handed Lincoln Riley was. So I'm starting to think now, how a lot of fans. I feel like we're unfair to Lincoln Riley, and Lincoln Riley is not the one that throws under the bus. He's not the one that's going to stand up there and say, "Well, man, give me some more help." He took it on the chin, man. And so my question is this: I want to know what you guys think about now that we know, for one, how short we were on staff, right? But now everybody's expected probably, I don't know, maybe 2 wins and 11 wins. But in all reality, we got to keep our expectations, right? All we have to look forward to is a spring portal, okay? We don't know what we're going to get out there. From what it looks like, there's no quarterback really that I don't know. So at this point, even you guys, I think I heard one of you guys saying next year, Lincoln Riley don't get it done, he's going to go. So my question is, now you know how short he was, front office, recruiters, got better recruiters, right? Hey, are you going to give him more of a leash now? Or is it still the same? Sure, or he's out? That's my question.
Great question, because you bring up the point. We're all making such a big deal out of what we've added. It shows you what we didn't have. And it also kind of sobers everybody up to the fact that Dave Emmerich was doing like 43, Dave Emmerich was doing the job of like this whole front office into one guy, and then being a personnel guy and everything and doing like wearing a bunch of hats. But I don't think it resets the clock. No, a couple of reasons. Here's why. The reason why I was willing to give Riley a couple of years is you could pull guys in through the portal. But you can't really, we've shown it, you can bring one guy in 2022 and do a pretty good job with Bobby Haskins to put together that line. But then we saw in 2023, we tried to put a bunch of guys on a line together and they played musical chairs. It just wasn't working out. And then last year we finally saw it. We saw that our young high school guys were coming along. And if you look at Ohio State and you look at Oregon, that's your perfect microcosm to keep it simple. I know we're simplifying this, but you saw at Ohio State that had been building and retaining their roster for guys that could have gone to the NFL and using their money to keep their core roster together and then adding a quarterback and adding a running back and adding a safety, right? And then on the other side of it, you have an Oregon who wasn't developing people and they're just yanking guys from other programs and just kind of trying to patch it together. And we saw what Ohio State did to that. It's hard. It's hard to have a culture that way. It's hard to build cohesiveness that way. It's hard to build one team, right? The old Coach O thing, one heartbeat thing. It's really hard to do all that stuff when you're building a team like that. And I think all coaches know that. I think you can't build totally from the portal. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah.
Oh, so the short answer is no, I expect 10 wins this year or else I'm still going to be bitching. Yeah.
Yeah. Chad, Lincoln said when he linked up with Chad, Bowden, he told him, he's like, Lincoln, I want you to coach football. I want you to develop these kids, build this program and get it, to where it needs to be. And I'm on 10 wins, man. We got to get 10 wins. I gave Lincoln next year to get those 10 wins. Many cut him off after this year. or last year. So yeah, man, I'm expecting 10 wins. I think we can get 10 wins. I think that the schedule looks pretty good, how it's all laid out. And front office, that helps. That makes it easier for you to get to that 10-win mark, and the recruiting and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
And you know what? As far as I go, Hugo, I'm one of the big. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Hugo. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, Paulie, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hugo, I got to tell you right now, I'm a huge Lincoln Riley supporter. I look at his body of work back at, his younger years, all throughout his coaching career. I see him evolving as a coach. And finally, I think this is the year that we're going to get to see what he's really capable of doing from just a schematic point of view, where he's going to get out there and really make a difference in the coaching, in the play calling, and having all of that stuff taken off of his plate. You're going to see a different Riley this year.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Right. I agree with you, Paulie. I feel like if we gave Clay Helton, right, a certain, like what it was, 7 years, we can give Riley a little bit more time, because I've said it a few times, and I know a lot of people don't like to say it, but I can say it. Clay Helton was worse than the sanction. Okay, that's my opinion. So what Lincoln Riley walked into, like we're talking about here, if you get 9 wins, 8 wins this year, right? And what do we do? We're just going to start all over. We're going to blow this.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Blow this whole thing, and here we're going. He's sitting here again.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
But it feels now like everything's falling into place.
Yeah,
so
Hugo.
We got to give him yeah.
Well, Hugo, I said I would bitch. I didn't say he's get fired. Or I want him fired. Actually, I know that Gabe's on the line saying that he's out. I know that people are out. I'm gonna be complaining, but again, I now really do see what they're building, and I think at this point, 2 things. One, who are you going to replace Coach Riley with? That's better. Like, who's out there that you're going to replace him with? That's one. 2, I agree with you. They've built this staff. So you're telling me if they go 8-4, and the 4 games they lose competitively up at Eugene, they lose competitively in South Bend, they lose competitively, I don't know, an improved Nebraska team, right? I know, and let's say that I don't know, there's some injuries and we lose at home to oh god, it's getting painful.
We can just say
Iowa.
Let's lose all these games, okay? But they're close. We're competitive, and we're losing to good programs, and we're just not quite there yet. But we're looking over our shoulders at what Bowden's putting together. We're looking at the roster and the recruiting class that's coming. You dump the head coach, you probably lose a lot of these guys, a lot of the staff, and you're probably also going to mail in your recruiting class. So no, I mean, and also the fact, can we all stop? Riley is a good coach. They are not going to throw away a good coach and pay a massive buyout. Let's put an end to the thought that Lincoln Riley is going anywhere for at least the next 3 years, because I can't see it. Can anyone on this panel or anybody in this chat see Coach Riley losing enough games to go away with the staff that they have in place right now? I find it hard to believe.
No.
So I think we can put that one to rest.
Yeah, we could put that to rest. At the end of the day, like I said, I know just everybody's up, and I just want everybody to have realistic expectations. This front office staff that we brought in, we have holes, and the only thing we have to look forward to is some really good development in the spring portal. Okay, so it's not like they've had a whole year to put a class together and this and that. We're going to have to be still a little patient. I know this. We all should know this, right? So the way I see it for next season, fellas, and I'm gonna leave you guys with this, so you guys get some other callers in it. We for sure should win all 7 of our home games, all 7 of those, and then at least win two out of those tough games, which is like Oregon, Nebraska, and remind me the other team. I
don't know. Some people in South Bend. Some people, some Irish guys in South Bend, I think.
Yeah.
There you go. If we could win 1 or 2 of those, we'd be in good shape, fellas. But listen, man, out the show. Thanks for taking my call. and I go run these groceries in the house before I get in trouble.
There you go, Hugo.
Thanks,
Take
bro.
care. Fight on, Hugo.
Oh my God, Hugo knocks it out of the park. I needed that call.
That was a good call, man.
Yeah, Hugo, great call. Listen, I threw the number up there. We got. Oh no, well it's actually we're gonna call. We're gonna call it, so we don't really have calls, and it's it's that time. It's 10 o'clock. Listen, thank you guys so much. We have almost 400 people on here right now, and again, I can't tell you how great. Oh, we got caller. You got literally 3 minutes because Preston and Polly are already staring at me. I told them 1 hour.
Oh.
Hey, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
From Los Angeles.
Hey, Brian. Thanks for calling in. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hearing the news trickling in of all the assistants being hired at SC, and I'm excited, but I also have some thoughts to share with you guys.
Let's hear it.
What I'm worried about is that, the coaches are coming in at Hall of Fame level, but we still need more of the Joes on the field. I feel like the recruiting has picked up as of late, but I feel like we still need to go ahead and shore up the linebacker, especially since the Angry Zebra is always getting hurt. Can't stay on the field. Probably the best linebacker. So I feel like this is gonna really trickle down to another recruiting class. A lot of decommit if we have another 8-win season, 7, 9-win season, if we're not able to go ahead and at least make a college football appearance. And it'll be the same thing over again where we're like, oh, we're building something, but it's not coming on the field because, we don't have enough talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball or quarterback position.
Okay. I'm not sure if we don't have the talent on the defensive side of the ball. We have some unproven talent on the defensive side of the ball. That's for sure. But I haven't seen this defensive line this deep in quite a long time. And we have some guys with potential that we really haven't seen yet. We've just seen glimpses. I really think you guys, Cam Fountain, we got to see a little bit of Cam Fountain in action. I think he could be a legitimate superstar this year. We didn't get to see Eric Gentry a lot of last year. He was the only guy really putting up a consistent pass rush and causing chaos in the backfield for us. We missed him half the season. I think we're gonna have some unproven talent out there. But the fact that I really like, especially Rob Ryan said it right away, what he saw from Desmond Stevens, I think he has the ability to really turn some heads. And Jaden Walker, he was a true freshman last year as well. He might come on strong. I don't know. We can't predict it. But we know guys like Kamari Ramsey is just an absolute stud.
Wow.
Bishop
That's all American right there.
Bishop Fitzgerald is going to, a lot of Trojan fans don't know him. You guys are going to get to know him really, really quick. And if DJ Harvey can come in and be that guy, we haven't really had, we've had some good corners, but we really haven't had that Mekhi Blackman in a while. They can really, really help. The defensive corner's best friend is that lockdown corner.
Yeah.
I don't know if DJ Harvey's going to be that guy, but there's a lot of unproven, a lot of new faces that we have on this team. But again, if we're going to keep saying that we have the best defensive staff in America and that these guys are hell developers, I think we got to actually start putting our hearts where our mouth is. I don't know.
Exactly.
What are you guys' thoughts?
No, I really feel that, man. I really feel that. Is Brian still on the phone? He's still on, right?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, Brian, you look at what we're doing as far as you look at Kamari Ramsey, and I really see him having an All-American. See, there's a reason why he came back. It wasn't just for his NFL thing. He came back because he believes in this team. He believes in his coach, and he believes where we're headed. And that's one thing you're going to see. You're going to see that next step of player like a Kamari Ramsey make that next level of play, I guess you want to say, and take it to that All-American type of level. But we're the class of 2026. I think we have 4 or 5 top 100 players already committed to us, and and we're doing things the right way by building this roster from top to bottom. And like Tim said, and Preston said this many times, it's the development of a lot of these players, and you're going to see guys that we least expect, like Devin Tompkins, or it could be a list of players. We can go on and on of guys that could possibly make that next jump and be that superstar that we need.
Yeah, I think we definitely turned a corner. I can understand, if you're talking offensive line, I think that's probably where I'm more concerned than when you talk about defensive front or the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. Offensive line, you are going to be seeing somebody that, didn't start, 12 games over there at the right tackle position, most likely, and in various positions across the offensive line. But defense, I feel pretty well. I mean, depth in the defensive line, the size of the defensive line, I feel very confident, what we could do there. So, yeah, offensive line, I hear what you're saying a little bit, but I think we're going to be able to get it done and win 10 games next year. That's just how I feel right now.
Yeah, I'm with you, Preston, on that, man. Definitely with you on that.
I'm with all three of you guys. Hey, Brian.
I want to say a quick thought. I agree with you. The front seven is going to be mean. We got Cameron Fountain that may take the next step. Shelby may turn the corner. We have the Texas A&M kid.
Got Lucas back.
Really put it together.
Yeah. Got Lucas back, yeah.
Yeah. Lucas
oh no, you meant.
Yeah, at defensive end, we're going to.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Anthony Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Tompkins, yeah. Lucas. You got Jakeem Stewart, who God knows what he could do. Yeah. And then you got Keyshawn Silver. Oh, man.
Yeah, defensive end and interior defensive line, we finally have some real dudes coming in. We're going to have depth. We're going to be able to stop the run. We're going to be able to slow down all this running games that, frankly, this year killed us. Like Maryland, of all teams, they were killing us little carries, 2-yard gains, 3-yard gains. We couldn't stop it because we didn't have that depth that we have this year coming up. But the point is that I'm bringing up is that Penn State proved that, Notre Dame proved that you can make it far into the college football playoff, even the national championship, by playing great, sound defense. But I want to say that those athletes that I saw on the field, I know SC also recruits at a nice little level, but I'm seeing Notre Dame beat SC and California recruiting, the last 2 or 3 years, taking some great defensive recruits. So my point is that we need, I think, some of that portal help that we got last year when we got this Oregon State transfers, Mascalena coming in, the safety coming in, because I feel like when we have true proving guys coming in and playing under that scheme, then that gives us a better chance of hoping some of our 3 or 4-star guys that are barely coming in are going to turn that corner that fast and really flash on the field and be ready for high-level football at that level to beat the Penn States and Oregon next year, and then Michigan's coming to LA. So that's why I want to go to that game, and I want to make sure that Michigan's not going to run the ball 100 times in a row.
Let them. With that front seven, let them.
Yeah, we'll let them do it.
Because remember, you guys, they ran at us last year, and sure, they ate in the first half. My God, they gorged in the first half, but then USC shut them down. They didn't have a first down the entire second half until that ill-fated and very, very very not typical missed tackle by Kamari Ramsey. You know what I mean? It's like, how often does that happen? So let them run at us. Last year, and that was in the fourth quarter with a thin defensive line. Again, say in your head, talk about, I'm going to cheat right now. I'm just going to rattle them off really quick. Like Keyshawn Silver, Kobe Pepe. We haven't seen Manabula Balavu. He's got to have a whole nother year with Rachel Suba and to get ready and thick them up, get bigger. Then Jade Abasiri, we wait for him, the guy from Minnesota. And then Floyd Bucard, who I think is explosive as hell. I don't know if he's going to be ready right away, and then Jakeem Stewart, another guy who I don't know where they do these stupid rankings, man. But the way he dropped, a lot of those guys are gonna look really stupid. And then we talked about the guys on the outside. Let them run at us. Go ahead, let them run at us. Funnel them right into Desmond Stevens to knock their running back out early, because you heard exactly what Rob Ryan said. I know we're not allowed to talk about denting helmets, but I think that this is going to be a physical, nasty team. I really, really do. And I welcome it. Look, no one's done it better than Michigan over the past couple of years. Let's face it. But USC held up to them in the big house. We barely lost that game. Now they're coming to the Coliseum. And we'll see how that works out. You got Brian, listen, we got to get out of here. Great call, man.
Thank you.
Great call.
Thank you, Brian. Fight on.
All right, now you guys. Hey, make sure you check it out. Make sure you check it out. Paulie over at Walnuts 4242. And then also make sure you go and check out Preston at oops, I just messed it up. At Preston. At Fight On Preston. Also, make sure you're going over and checking out Preston. What's your latest video over on Preston's Paradise?
Talked about the press conferences yesterday. And yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't know. I've been covering all the news that's come out. I've done like 3 videos in the last day, so kind of mixed up, but just kind of covering everything.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot of news out there. And then I've had a couple of IEPs this week. I've been trying to fit my work in with like watching these. I wish I could have gone. Oh man, I wish I could have gone yesterday. And then make sure you guys get me to 2,000 subs on Twitter. If you guys got a Twitter account, man, there's like 200 of you guys out there. Give me a follow. I think I need 2 for 2,000. So I'd appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. You guys really drive this thing. We'll be back this weekend with a call-in show.
You got it.
Let me get this out of the way. I can't get
what I just want to tell everyone, watch out for this tight end room next year. There's a young kid by the name of Joey Olsen that people need to be watching out for.
Big Joey Olsen.
No, but seriously, no, they're going to be great, guys. They're going to be really good.
Yeah. No doubt. Thank you all for being here. We will be Tuesday. We're going to go back to normal Tuesday, Thursdays. We'll probably do this show on Thursday nights. And then on Tuesday nights will be the call-in show. So appreciate everyone being here. Again, I know you guys have plenty of places to be. It's just a blessing every time I see you guys here. If you got 1 second, if you haven't done already, hit that like for us. We really appreciate you all being here. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen, why not? Go ahead and subscribe to us. We will pop up live when big news happens. Speaking of the fact that you're going to have those announcements, there will be spring portal hits, and we think they're going to be pretty big with the staff that we have together. So appreciate everyone being here. Fight on, and we'll see everybody next time.
Fight on, everyone.
Wilson for president.
I think we had a game site. Oh, thank you to everyone who. Sorry, I can't get out of here. Thank you to everybody over on Twitter who tweet us out. I cannot get out of here without doing this. Thank you guys. Of course, Twitter is crawling right now. But thank you guys for tweeting us out. I know for a fact it was probably, where are we? I'm able to find it. Thank you to Gil Marin. Thank you so much for tweeting out the show, as well as, who's 6 of you? We're definitely have to get you guys out. 2 seconds. Thank you to Preston, wherever you are, Preston. Thank you, Preston. And I thank you to the Voice of College Football, Trojan Blade, Arrogant Nation, and Light the Torch. Make sure you guys get over, check out Light the Torch work. They are on Wednesday nights, I believe. And if I had to guess, I think it's 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Go sub up Light the Torch podcast. Fight on, you guys, and we'll see you guys all next Tuesday.
Fight on.
Fight on.